How are we doing? I was off for a little bit, went down to Cancun, had myself a short vacation, but I needed it. And you're thinking, wow, you're down to Cancun. Probably this guy who talks all this about the diet just went crazy down there. Just all-inclusive eating garbage. No, actually. I was pretty good on the diet. Of course, did some drinking, but I had like 2.5 beers as far as beer is concerned and stayed away from that. Like we talked about, beer's bad news. Beer just, again, you might as well just tape a 6-pack to your stomach because that's where it's going to sit. But stayed with the vodka, a little bit of tequila, and kept it pretty clean. Still ate most of the foods that I normally eat. Probably ate a little bit more frequently than usual, but again, couldn't necessarily get the larger portions that I'm used to, so I would say I wasn't doing the fast for those 5 nights. But I was spacing it out and didn't eat a bunch of fried stuff or anything. I think I had French fries like 2 times, just because there was nothing else available, apparently. So we were finishing up talking about what the TRT is going to be, what it's going to do as far as for people, men 50 and above, what you can expect, what's good, what's not good, what to stay away from. Probably don't need to rehash all that. If not, you can go back and watch those 2 other videos about that. We just didn't really get into some of the other things that they're probably going to do with you as far as the aromatase inhibitors. These are things that block estrogen. So why would we need to do that? Some guys don't need to do that. The response as far as hormones is very tricky. Some men aromatize testosterone very easily into estrogen, and it creates some side effects like what puffiness in the nipples. I'm sure you've heard of that when you've heard about people that have used anabolic steroids and they get in large doses, and they may get actual lactation and things like that. Are you going to get that? No, because you're under the care of a doctor. That's unlikely, but if you start to get tingling or puffiness, that could be a result of that. So they try to prevent that by giving you the AIs. Some people don't need to take them at all. Some people are sensitive to the AIs themselves and can't take those. It's kind of a tricky thing, and the doctor has to staff have to figure it out. Spoke about gonadotropin. Some places use Clomid, HCG. This essentially is supposed to keep you fertile and also avoid any testicular shrinkage, and trying to keep your natural test production as normal as possible. Here's the thing, guys. I need you to understand about HRT, TRT, if you choose to do this, which again is it's a very common problem with men over 50 that you're going to have low testosterone. If you choose to do it, understand you're probably going to be on it for the foreseeable future. Because, so say a guy in his 20s, because he's not happy with his normal 800, 900 testosterone nanograms per deciliter, and he wants it to be, 1,500, 2,000, and he is able to somehow either legally or illegally gets test, and he's blasting that up and taking that. Yes, it's going to do what they call shut you downs, right? So it's going to stop your normal testosterone production. Again, I'm not a doctor. I just pay attention to what I'm told. And again, I will refer you to Dr. Michael O'Connor or any other doctors that talk about these specific men's health issues on YouTube. They will reiterate what I'm telling you or give you a more extensive, expansive explanation of what I'm saying. But condensed version. So a guy in his 20s and he's normal, he doesn't have hypogonadism or any of that kind of stuff. He's just taking, tests to enhance, and so he could be shut down, which means your body's not producing your body's not producing the natural testosterone because it realizes we don't need to produce this. It's coming at this level. It's coming in from the outside, so you'll stop producing it, or you produce less of it. Now that guy in his 20s, he could probably stop that once he comes off that and says, okay, I don't want to take this anymore, and he will probably recover. His body will eventually, after several months, it'll start to make the testosterone again, and he'll be okay, and he can go along his merry way. Hopefully. Us, at our age, if you get the TRT, HRT, it will shut down your natural production, mostly. Like I said, it'll be kind of limped along by that HCG or gonadotropin or clomid or whatever they give you. However, once you're on it, you're on it, as far as TRT, 50 and above. Could you possibly get off of it and get your natural test back? Maybe, but it's unlikely. So you have to be kind of willing to accept that, and if the doctor, physicians, nurses, whoever that you go see or specialist doesn't give you the full picture of that, then you might be in the wrong place. They may just want your money, and they just want to sell it to you and don't care. But that's the reality. If you're going to do it, you're going to be doing it. You're going to be there. You're going to have to be on it. And, unless you don't care if your natural test production is like you quit doing it and you don't care about your natural test. And I suppose there's people that don't, but probably not people that are on my channel and listening to this and interested in this material. So understand that. That's where you're going to be. So back to that, those are the things that they're likely going to offer you, that they're going to give you some combination thereof. So if you get on that, you will notice, I shouldn't say will, because everybody responds to things differently. You likely will notice increased libido. You likely will notice an easier muscle building or similar muscle building ability that you had in your 20s, teens, 20s, 30s. Okay? You may notice the better sleep. and you may notice better energy, which are, great for anybody, I would think. So, that's pretty much what you can expect. And if you do go in that direction, I think it will give you most people gives them a better overall sense of well-being, and again, your performance as far as losing fat and gaining muscle. Which, let's face it, guys. What are anabolic steroids? Well, there's a gambit of them, but it all kind of started with testosterone, and science figured out that that's the thing in men that grows their muscles. The difference between men and women, and why men have the male characteristics that they have, and why the muscle density is different in women and men, and that's the major factor. Okay, so it is the building block of that, along with the proteins and the proper diet and all that. But now, people who I told you your doses are going to be 50 to 200 milligrams. Those are normal doses to make you, again, return to your, original state, as it were, before your testosterone started to plummet. So not out of the normal range, and not doing some kind of, mini cycle of freaking steroids. Once you get above that 200, if you hear bodybuilders talk about, I do a gram of test. Okay, a gram, 1,000 milligrams. Like, getting into those kind of ranges is really where you're going to have some serious side effects. You can have all kinds of medical problems. You're going to, raising your blood pressure to the hypertrophy of your left ventricle of your heart, which makes one side of your heart, the bigger muscle makes your heart too big. Again, I'm not a doctor. I shouldn't try to speak intellectually about those type of medical things, but those are what that gets into. Even you'll hear bodybuilders talking about doing 500 milligrams of test for a week, for a while, but they can't do it forever. So don't wander into that territory. Like, you get we're introducing you to this for longevity, for health, virility, just better life as a man in your over 50. But don't start thinking, I'm going to take this to the moon and try to get something above and beyond what the doc is going to give you, which is therapeutic. So stay with me on that, please. Stay with the original intent of what this is and what we're talking about. I think that's probably the most we're going to talk about the TRT probably for a while. I feel like I've done 3 on it. If you have questions, though, please put them in the comments. I will answer them the best that I can. And again, there's other channels that will delve into it more deeply. Let's do the discipline, get it done. Got to cut it short, just under 15 minutes. Let's go.